Wilson Morales from Black Film and TV. Hey, Adrien, how's it going?
What's happening, Wilson? How are you?
Good. So when you came onto this project, and you read the script, you saw what's going on, you said, okay, Holocaust survivor, done this long film. I can do that again. What more? But this time you worked with Brady, and with the collaboration between the two of you, what did you want to bring to the table outside of the script?
I it's interesting, and I could see the observations you've made. I didn't have those observations, to be honest. And It's a vastly different film, obviously, from The Pianist, and it's really what moved me so much. There were two things. One is it's the struggle of a man who's forced to leave everything behind and come to this great nation, and the harsh reality of what the American dream is for so many, and what those hopes and dreams are, and how that um, there's the intersection of those two things is quite painful. And I understand that struggle because I am the son of a Hungarian immigrant, and my mother and my grandparents fled war and conflict and left their life behind and came to America and assimilated. And I know the hardships of that journey, and I know the sacrifices that have been made, and it's very personal to me, and I feel like it's very personal to the story of many Americans. So that's not lost on me, and that, I think, moved me, in addition to a beautifully written script, more than what you had referenced. And I think the value of me having done The Pianist, and more importantly, the research that I had done to portray Spielman, and a sense of loss and a sense of having society and the world as we know it ripped out, and the loss of freedoms and religious freedoms and persecution and all those things, to really deeply have contemplated that, of all of what László is leaving behind, just for the backstory, so that there is truth and depth in understanding, to be the man who's pursuing his art and trying to find a home in America,
Uh,
and leave all that behind, and yet is still an outsider and still persecuted in spite of his assimilation.
you know, uh, and that's true what you said. Like I come from, from parents who immigrated from Honduras, and obviously everybody comes in to try to make a better way once they get
Yes.
here and try to recapture whatever, job or lifestyle that they had back then. It's never easy. People can look at this
No.
film, no matter how long it is or whatever. There's something that everybody can relate to it.
Yes.
Laszlo is a famed architect. How much do you know about the architect world, having done this, or did you know it beforehand?
I don't know about the world. I mean, I know I have a love of architecture and design, and the artistic achievements of that, and the yearnings of that, and it speaks to me, and I love architecture. I have done extensive research of the Bauhaus era, and um, numerous brutalist architects' works that were influential in Brady and Mona's amalgamation of a character that became László, and Marcel Breuer, who the Met Brauer building, and Louis Kahn, and all these great architects that created such unique brutalist works and modernist works that were, very powerful. They're a big influence. And I what I love is the parallels that were drawn in the storytelling about architecture and how the human being and his experiences in life in the creation of this indelible structure that he's leaving behind that will outlive him, that is so deeply influenced from those experiences, the traumas of war, and how they influence this movement of shedding the past and this almost futurism in a lot of brutalist architecture. And, you know, if you look at a lot of places in London and Hungary and Czech Republic, and there are other areas of, you know, where there were vast bombings and that were rebuilt with this very kind of modern practical design. A lot of that is brutalist work, and they're came as the result of rebuilding from war, and a lot of it was immigrant artists coming to America and or other nations and leaving their mark.
Adrien, phenomenal performance. You know, I don't say it's often, but you definitely knocked it out of the park. Congrats again on the role, on the film. I'm sure we'll talk down the road. Take care.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Wilson Morales from Black Film TV. You guys have worked together before. So coming into this, you know, what did you get out of Brady, you know, from what you read the script, and how else did you want to play this characters outside of the script to make it your own?
Well, what we got from Brady was the script, whereas the last time we worked together, it was all improvised.
We didn't have a
script. So that was kind of different. Well, there was a script.
It was such a different dynamic. It was almost quite hilarious trying to navigate this new relationship between Erzsébet and Van Buren is so different from what we were doing
the first time.
Breathe In. So it took a moment for us to kind of go,
that's right.
Oh, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Who are you now?
Yeah, that's right. But,
so, you know, Harrison is such a complex character, you know, and for such a long film, we see the complexities. At first, you know, he's one way, then he's another way. You don't know, you know, where the audience's emotions towards him is. You know, how else did you want to play that when you saw it and you go, okay. And as you kept reading along the pages, like, okay, now.
Well, it was just understanding him and just wanting to make sure I understood what Brady was wanting to portray, which was pretty clear to me anyway. I mean, and obviously there's a particular event towards the latter part of the film, which I won't give away now. But you know, I needed to understand that, and I think that was then about tapping into more of Van Buren's past and you know, just trying to understand the lengths to which he would go to sort of feel like he has power, feel like he has control. So, as you say, a very complex character, and I just really wanted to make sure that I was delivering what Brady was wanting.
Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to Erzsébet, you know, we hear you first, and then we see you, and you know, throughout the whole time, you're supposed to be the sounding board for László. And then, you know, things become different. How else more can you say regarding the role you're playing?
Well, yeah, as you say, in many ways, we get to know her at the beginning of the film because we hear her voice. So we have a sense that this person is a powerful force in László's life. And like László, you as the audience are waiting for her arrival. And then when she appears, I liked it in the script that she actually is almost quite discordant. She kind of disrupts things when she arrives, and she's not gonna do what she's told, and she's gonna push back at Van Buren. And there's an immense amount of defiance in this person, as we see in that confrontation with Van Buren at the end of the film, is that she's not someone who's just gonna make things all easy and comfortable. And she also comes with her own ego, and there's actually quite a combative tone in the relationship between László and Erzsébet, which I think makes it so true. Even though they haven't seen each other for 8 years, it's not as soppy as they're expecting. You know, they've got to get to know each other again.
You know, you guys have done a number of projects separately, but when you do a movie like this, and I always say actors can never stop learning, is there anything you took once production ended that helps you out skill set wise as actors moving forward to whatever project you do next?
Oh, I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? It's sort of every job, every film, you sort of take something from it, and quite often, I think what you take is not necessarily about what you then might utilize in other work, but it's almost like making a film is almost like a therapy session as well, in that you go through something and you kind of come out the other side, and you change as a person to a degree. And so sometimes the skills that you take on, or the learnings that are there, aren't necessarily to do with work. They're to do with just recognizing yourself more, or you know, sort of understanding yourself more. That's what I've found over the years. So I don't know specifically work-wise what.
I don't know. I just feel like after you finish the project, you're just
A bit
like,
exhausted.
thank
Yeah.
God. You're just tired. You're like,
That's
I
right.
can sleep.
I need to sleep
You know,
more.
I can see my family. I can talk to my friends.
That's right.
you know,
I can be a human being.
you know, hey, phenomenal performances. Congrats on the roles. Congrats on the film. I'm sure I'll talk to you guys down the road sometime sooner or later. Take care, folks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.